The story begins with two girls climbing a 600-meter tall tower. To scare her timid friend, one of them starts shaking the ladder at that height. But she doesn't realize that doing this could loosen the screws holding the ladder in place. After reaching the top, they both have a great time. But as they prepare to head back down, the ladder suddenly slips and the screws come out. The next instant, the ladder breaks and crashes to the ground, but her friend catches her because the rope was strong enough. So Becky is left dangling in the air at a height of 600 meters. If she fell, there wouldn't be a trace of her left. Standing above, her friend holds the rope tightly and tries to pull her up, but her foot slips. Becky panics from the sudden jolt, but she manages to steady herself. Then they both try together. One pulls up while the other climbs. Finally, Becky makes it up safely. Before they can even recover from this terrifying ordeal, they realize another horrifying truth. Looking down, they see that the entire ladder has collapsed. Now they were stranded on an abandoned 600-meter-high signal tower. Getting down without a ladder was impossible. Her friend pulls out her phone to call for help, but there was no signal at this height. Just then, Becky finds binoculars and a flare gun in a toolbox on top of the tower. At the same time, her friend remembers that her post from this morning under the tower got over 300 likes, making her think there might be a signal a bit lower down. She types a distress message and starts lowering the phone tied to a rope. But she runs out of rope and still there's no sound of the message sending. Realizing it's not low enough, she makes a dangerous decision. She climbs out of the safe zone, slowly makes her way down, and suspends herself in the air at 600 meters. Still short of the distance, she lets go with one hand to try and lower the phone even further. Becky starts hyperventilating in panic, and her friend's strength begins to give out. But still, there is no signal on the phone. Eventually, she has to climb back up. Then Becky gets an idea. She says if there's a signal down there, they just need to get the phone to the ground. Hearing this, her friend puts the phone inside her shoe. Then, she takes off her bra to use as a cushion and throws the shoe down. No one knows what happened to the shoe falling from 600 meters. After this, they wait for hours, but no help arrives. It was clear the phone was broken. Just then, looking through the binoculars, they spot a man below. They both scream for help in excitement. But because of the height, the man can't hear them. As he starts to leave, Becky throws her shoe down. The shoe hits the ground hard, but the man doesn't notice. Then she throws the other shoe, which clangs against the metal structure. The man hears the sound, picks up the shoe, and looks around, but doesn't look up. Seeing no one, he throws the shoe away and walks off. They are both completely devastated. Becky starts firing the flare gun, but her friend stops her because the flare won't be visible in daylight. She also spots a camper van nearby, guessing the man is there for camping and won't leave soon. They wait for nightfall and then fire the flare gun in the dark. Seeing the bright light, the man looks up and spots them trapped on the tower. Becky and her friend jump with joy, thinking they are finally saved. But instead of calling for help, the man goes to their car, breaks the window, and drives off with it. Their hopes are shattered again. They spend the entire night in fear and despair. The next morning, there's still no rescue team. Now they are certain the distress message was never sent. Before they die of hunger and thirst, they have to do something themselves. Their last hope was a bag hanging on the signal dish below the tower, which had a drone inside. The plan was to attach a distress message to the drone and fly it to a nearby motel. Her friend ties the safety rope and climbs down. With great difficulty, she reaches the dish, but the rope doesn't reach the bag. Then she makes another dangerous decision. She unties the safety rope and, holding on with just one hand, leans down further. Still, she can't reach the bag. Finally, she lets go of the rope and jumps straight onto the signal dish. Fortunately, she gets the bag. After baking in the sun all day, she drinks some water, but now climbing back up was a new challenge. She ties the bag to a selfie stick, hooks the rope, and is pulled up with Becky's help. Just as she is about to reach the broken ladder, her foot slips. Becky is terrified her friend might die. Just then, she screams. Becky immediately pulls the rope and slowly brings her up. After drinking water, Becky writes a distress message with her eyebrow pencil, tapes it to the drone, and flies it toward the nearby motel. But after flying just a short distance, a low battery warning pops up on the drone. If it keeps going, it will crash in the desert where no one will see it. So Becky recalls it. At the last second, the drone's battery dies, but Becky catches it. Now the problem was charging the drone. Night falls. Becky feels like she is all alone on the tower, with her friend's body lying below. Just then, seeing the flashing signal light, she gets an idea that she can steal power from it. The next morning, she drinks a little water to gather strength and starts climbing the pole. After a lot of effort, she reaches the top, uses her shirt to grab and unscrew the hot bulb, and plugs the drone's charger into it. Since it's too short, she takes off her locket to complete the connection. Finally, the drone starts charging, but it was going to take 4 hours to fully charge. Becky has to hold her position. Eventually, the drone is fully charged. Returning to the platform, she flies it toward the motel. Soon, buildings appear on the screen. She is sure people will read the message now and help will arrive. She smiles with joy, but just then, as it crosses the road, a speeding truck hits the drone and blows it apart. Eventually, the drone is fully charged. Returning to the platform, she flies it toward the motel. Soon, buildings appear on the screen. She is sure people will read the message now and help will arrive. She smiles with joy, but just then, as it crosses the road, a speeding truck hits the drone and blows it apart. Becky is stunned. She can't believe rescue was just a few steps away. Then she watches through the binoculars as the truck driver gets out to look, but he fails to see the broken drone, gets back in, and drives off. Becky bursts into tears. All her hope was gone, but an even more horrific truth awaited her. When she looks at her friend, she sees blood-soaked wounds on her face. Suddenly, she remembers the painful truth she didn't want to accept. In reality, when her friend fell, she had died instantly hitting the metal dish. Hunger, fear, loneliness, and despair had hallucinated Becky's mind, and she had been talking to her in her imagination all this time. Just then, she hears her friend's voice. "Did you really think you could pull me up?" Snapping out of the delusion, she looks down and sees vultures tearing at her friend's body. She starts crying helplessly. Then, a fierce storm rolls in. Amidst the strong winds and roaring thunder, the tower shakes violently. Becky watches an old video of her son and father on her phone and simply says, "I sang my song, but I won't be able to finish it." Meanwhile, her father was also desperately searching for his daughter. 4 days pass. After the storm, silence blankets the desert. Becky is sitting propped up against the pole. Her wounds have rotted and vultures start pecking at them. But this time, Becky doesn't give up. She fights the vulture and eventually kills it. Starving for days, Becky regains her strength by eating its meat. Now she stops being afraid. She ties the safety rope and slowly slides down. When she runs out of rope, she unclips the safety hook and jumps onto the metal dish. Seeing her friend's decaying body there breaks her heart. But to survive, she had to do one more difficult thing. She writes a distress message on her phone and gets it ready to send to her father. There was no signal on the tower, so she takes off her friend's shoe, puts the phone inside, and then stuffs the shoe inside the wound in her stomach. After that, she pushes her friend's body off the 600-meter tower. She was confident that the protection of the body and the shoe would keep the phone from breaking. Once it hits the ground and gets a signal, the message would send automatically. And that's exactly what happens. Her father gets the message. He immediately alerts the police, and the rescue team arrives at the scene. Becky is rescued. When she sees her father, she can't hold back and bursts into tears, hugging him tightly.